Okay, we had x was the, x was in common, we factored the x out. X times what gave us x squared, we put the x here. And to get the 6, we said x times what will give us the 6x. We put the 6 here. A way to check after you have factored, you can multiply it back. So if you multiplied x times x,
X squared.
x squared, and then put the minus, x times 6,
6x.
x. And you see you got the same thing, so it checked. But this is our answer. Okay, let's do another one, like 2x squared plus 6x. Now they have a letter and a number in common. So what's the number that they would have in common? The 2. They would both divide by 2. So we'll put the 2 and the variable x, just to the first power, because they both just have, they don't both just have 1, but they have 1 in common. Okay, what would we multiply this by to get this?
X.
X. Put our plus. What do we multiply this by to get 6x? Do we need an x here?
No.
No, because we already had 1. Okay? You can multiply it back to make sure. Bless you. 2x squared, and then plus 2x times 3, 6x. So we're good. That's your answer. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into one that looks a little more confusing. Let's jump into one that looks really hard, and we'll see how it's not really as hard as it looks. 17x to the 5th, y to the 3rd, plus 34, x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd, y second, plus 51 xy. Okay, the numbers. I don't know if you can tell by looking, but they all divide by 17. This is 17 times 2, and this is 17 times 3. Okay, so the 17 will factor out. Now, what's the smallest x? The exponent of x.
1.
It's just x.
1, and the y will also just have 1 also, right?
So 17xy.
17xy is our greatest common factor. Why do we multiply the 17xy by to get this? 17 we already have. How many more x's do we need?
4.
4 more x's. How many y's do we need?
2.
There was 3, so we need 2 more. Put the plus. 17 times what gives you 34?
2.
2. How many more x's do you need?
2.
Okay, there was 3, so you need 2 more. How about y?
1.
1 more. You actually don't need to put the 1 though, right? The y is okay by itself. We've already started it
Oh,
again.
okay.
17 times 3 gives us 51. So we'll put a 3 here. And do we need more x's?
No.
Do we need more y's?
No.
No. So that's as far as you go right there. You can put the 1, but you don't have to, okay? Let's do one with a fraction. That wasn't as hard as it looked, huh? I mean, it looked really, really confusing, but it's not that bad. Okay, let's do one with a fraction. Let's do one like 5/3 x to the 6th power plus 4/3 x to the 5th power plus 1/3 x to the 4th power minus 1/3 x to the 3rd power. Okay, if you have a fraction You want to factor out, like the common denominator, see how it's 3? If you factor that out, factor 1/3 out. Keep that common denominator of 3
The
down there.
positive 1/3?
So 1/3 is your common denominator as far as your fractions. Okay, on the x's, what is our smallest exponent?
3.
6543, so it's 3. Okay, so 1/3 times what number gives you 5/3?
5.
5. It's 5 times. 1/3 is 5 times to get 5/3. How many more x's do you need? 3 more. Okay, to get 4/3?
4.
Yeah, 1/3 is times 4. How many more x's do you need?
2.
2 more. 1/3
1.
is times 1, so you don't have to put it unless you aren't going to have any x's. But we are going to have an x here. So
X.
go ahead and put the x. You just need 1, right? Now we need the minus. We don't need any 1/3s,
Mm.
and we don't need an x to the 3rd power. So what are we going to put here?
1.
We need to go ahead and put the 1 here. We didn't have to put it in here because the x automatically would have a 1, but you do have to have it even if the term is just like it. Even if it said plus here, you still need to put a +1. That way when you multiply it back, you'll end up with 1, 2, 3, 4 terms again. If you don't put this, you're only going to have those first terms. So even if it's a 1, you got to put it. If it's all by itself there. Does everybody understand that?
Mhm.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, we're going to move to something a little different. We're going to factor, here's one, x squared times x plus 3 plus 2 times x plus 3. What do they have in common?
X
What?
plus 3?
X plus 3. Okay. X plus 3 is what they have in common. Now to get this first term right here, what is it multiplied by?
X.
It's multiplied by x squared. Now we're going to put plus. What is the x plus 3 multiplied by here?
2.
By 2. And so now you're done.
Oh, that's as far as
That's
it's going?
simpler than it looks, right?
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
This can't be factored. If you could have factored something out of them, that would have been fine, but that's as far as you can go. So let's do another one like this. 5a to the 3rd power times 2a minus 7 minus 2a minus 7. What do they have in common?
2A minus
2a minus 7. Okay, to get the first term here, what was it multiplied by?
7. 5.
This was multiplied by 5a to the 3rd power, right? So we have 5a to the 3rd power. We need the minus. What was it multiplied by here?
1.
If there's no number there, it's a 1. Okay, so it's 1.
Oh.
Okay. Now we'll move to something where it's going to, this will be like the second step. Okay, so I might bring it back and show it to you in a second, because we're going to learn factoring by group